Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for cash tags. For that, let's bring in our next guest. It's going to be Andy Swan, co-founder at LikeFolio. Welcome back to the show, Andy.
Hey, happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you, too. Happy Monday to Spotify shareholders over the last year. It's up pretty significantly. They continue to raise prices, Andy, and it seems like consumers don't care. They continue to pay their subscription levels. Do you guys see positive data out of this one going into earnings?
Yeah, this is a company we've seen positive data for several years, been bullish on it for a long time, remain long-term bullish, very much like we talked about with Netflix last week with you guys. You know, this company won. The race is over. They have won streaming music, just like Netflix has won streaming video. And I think, Spotify has earned that right and will continue to be able to raise prices because their customers are extremely happy with the services that they provide. There's a stickiness factor to Spotify. You've built your playlists. It's learned what you like. They've, rolled out a really masterful use of artificial intelligence to create playlists and listening opportunities that users really like. They understand their customer very well, and they deliver a superior product to everybody else. And so, Spotify, quite frankly, just wins. And they won podcasting. They're winning music. They're going to roll out music videos, I think, in a broad way pretty soon. So this is a company that's doing pretty much everything right. The only problem for Spotify is what you alluded to as we started this. I mean, the stock's up 70% over the past 12 months. You get to these points just like Netflix where you're number one, and then you start to ask, okay, now what? How do we continue to grow? They can raise prices, they can somewhat cut expenses, but ultimately I think this is a company that's reached a level of maturity that's going to make it difficult to continue to grow at the pace that they've been growing in the past. And so I think, we're just at a little bit of a shift gears moment for Spotify. It'll be interesting to see what they say on this earnings call. We expect things to come very much in line on this call with what Wall Street expects. Just a great company that's executing really well.
Andy, someday there'll be a master's thesis on the fact that Spotify was able to take a company like Apple and iTunes and make it completely irrelevant in terms of music. How they figured out exactly what the consumer wanted. And then now they're just expanding. They're just making more things. Here's one worry though, and it can happen a lot in things like this. Google is getting into podcasts and doing them much cheaper than Spotify's doing. Now, the good news is for Spotify, it hasn't hit elasticity of demand at all yet in terms of their pricing. Remember, we called them on this show the anti-Uber because they can afford to raise prices and not offend anybody. But our company's going to start being a threat like Google Alphabet that'll put out podcasts at a much cheaper rate than them. Is there any threats out there that you guys see? Because the happiness numbers that you put out, massively positive. All your data is still positive. Is there anything at all that you could think that we should worry about?
No, I think the only thing that we should worry about is Spotify going to get complacent as a market dominant company? It's a new role for them. I think if you look back just 2 or 3 years ago, I mean, we would be on this show, we would be debating Spotify versus Pandora.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even remember the last time I heard about Pandora from anybody in any walk of life. They've already taken on and defeated Apple and iTunes. In my opinion, that race is over. I don't think they should be scared of Google coming into this. I think YouTube is potentially an interesting threat if they can figure out a new way to deliver what they have in terms of content, but that's a huge ask in itself. And the bottom line is, Spotify users aren't going anywhere. The number of subscribers just continues to grow. The prices continue to go up for those plans. And, at LikeFolio, what we're seeing is a very flat level of people showing interest in canceling or looking up how to cancel their subscriptions. And so, churn is not a problem for this company at all. They continue to deliver a better and better product. And so as long as they're doing that, I think the only thing that scares me about Spotify is that Wall Street has already priced in a significant level of perfection. And that it can be very difficult to keep up with once you hit a maturation point like Spotify is at now.
Yeah, just off the 2.5-year highs that it hit just about a month ago. It has pulled back just to over 6%. But Andy, when you look at this, I always equate this to, I might get rid of Netflix occasionally or on Disney Plus. I don't subscribe to that anymore. Music seems to be that one item that people aren't going to give up. And for $12 a month for their premium plans, for you to have a whole cachet of things that you can listen to, is that part of their hook is, hey, I'm not giving up my Spotify. They have the best algorithm. And, hey, competitors like Apple, Amazon Music, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because the problem, with the comparison to Netflix, for example, Netflix has to continue to come out with new content all the time in order to justify the subscription that you're paying. Whereas Spotify, really, most people's playlists are made up of songs that are more than a year old. They've got their genres that they like. They've built their playlist. They've got what they like, and Spotify is able to deliver them some new stuff from those genres or even those time frames that maybe they'd forgotten about and make the experience enjoyable. And so I think for Spotify, the podcast is a really big place. They need to continue to work. I think that's probably the most vulnerable section of what they have and has been a big driver for growth. But overall, I think the $12 for the premium plan, I don't know anyone that would bat an eye if that went up to $15. And you're talking, that's a 25% revenue boost overnight and probably wouldn't increase churn very much at all. So they have extreme pricing power, I think, and extreme ability to generate the revenues that they will need to continue to grow over the next 2 to 3 years, without a doubt.
Yeah, and when I'm paying $20-25 for a vinyl record right now, and I'm still buying those, but it's
what you can do with this format. I mean, you can sit there and go, I think I want to hear Elton John, Madman Across the Water, and in 15 seconds you have the whole album to choose any song you want to listen to. And any obscure album, they have them all. They have everything.
Good stuff as usual, Andy. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, that's Andy Swan, co-founder at LikeFolio, breaking down Spotify data. Now, Kev, you look at the